Hello, I'm a fan of goats and Scott Wozniak. Scott the Woz is a YouTuber who makes comedy, skit/review videos on random video game topics. He also posted a video of him eating cereal on Pornhub. So I'm gonna rank and review all of Season 1 of Scott the Woz, starting with Video 1 Nintendo Switch Wishlist. He threw a Wii U out the window. Surprisingly, he guessed a lot of things correctly and mentioned Donald Trump. This video is about things he wants for the Switch. He correctly guessed the Switch having built-in motion controls and a remastered Mario Kart game. He was close about the new Mario game, but Mario Odyssey isn't a Galaxy game. Oh, and Nintendo is still creatively bankrupt at times. Solid opener, if a bit boring. I re-recorded some of the opening dialogue, sorry for the pause, sorry. Video 2, Nintendo Switch Presentation 2017. He talks about video games. Most of it involves him fanboying over The Legend of Zelda and Mario Odyssey. He says a bit about some other games like ARMS and that other weird launch title or whatever. It's more consistently funny going over the previous video. Video 3, History of Smash Bros. Rumors and Leaks. This video talks about leaks for the Super Smash Bros. Games. That's it. It goes from game to game, bullying teenagers' Photoshop skills. It does have some good sections, such as the critique that leak section, but my opinion is completely invalid as this video has Scott's dogs hanging out to dry for everyone to see. Better than Nintendo Switch Wishlist. Wishlist. It's so freaking hard for me to say wishlist. Video 4. Why the Wii U failed. This video goes over different categories and reasons why the Wii U failed. The price is way too high for being the budget console, and Scott says, the third-party support was sucked harder than your girlfriend who I may have magically turned into a vacuum, sorry about that, and the marketing was too childish. Pretty good points going above history of Smash Bros. Rumors and leaks. Oh no. Oh, I'm gonna have to make sure I avoid some protection. Video 5, Tinder. Why did Skip the Woz make it? So, while I'm in the middle of my pending execution for lying to my audience about Scott Wozniak only making gaming videos, this is the best video yet. Scott trying to get laid, that ain't before. It's funny seeing how scared Scott is to do some of the things he does, such as creating fake Tinder profiles, going on scam sites, censoring porn, I'm so sorry for rumors, and insulting fake women. Best video. By the way, please subscribe! Video 6, what the Wii U did right. Scott basically just compliments a couple of games, then shits on the Wii U at the end. It's easy to tell that Scott had more to criticize than praise. Going above Nintendo Switch Presentation 2017. Video 7, most wanted Nintendo Switch games.
I'm personally not in the mood for a brand new Smash game at the moment, as Smash 4 is already so big that I feel like I've had my fill on the franchise for at least the next few years or so. And I feel like Smash 4 is still fresh enough as a game to re-release it with, pieces of new content here and there to make most players happy.
Oh, you sweet summer child. Scott makes predictions of Switch games he wants. Let's make a list of games he got 100% correct, partially correct, or 100% factually wrong. He got Super Mario 3D All-Stars correct, even down to the frickin' name. He got 2 Monkey Ball games, he got Pikmin 4 correct, he got 2 WarioWare games, and he guessed the Nintendo Sports game correctly. For partially correct, he guessed the Smash 4 port, and the Mario Maker port. For incorrect, he guessed another NES remake style game, another Punch-Out, and another Tomodachi Life. For the stuff I don't care enough about to research, anything he said about Amiibo was probably wrong. He talked about Harmon Knight, some 3DS eShop game I never played, and Puzzle League. Going above Nintendo Switch Presentation 2017. Video 8, Nintendo Switch 3 Days In. Scott explains why the Nintendo Switch has a bright future. He talks about the pros and cons of the system. For example, he praises the screen, yet criticizes the lack of launch material. He praises the Switch dock, yet criticizes the shoulder buttons for the individual Joy-Cons. Not a funny video, but an entertaining one. Going above most wanted Nintendo Switch games. My grandpa died in this war. Video 9, Console Wars. We get to see some of Scott's brain for 2 seconds. Neat. And Scott talks about the console wars throughout the generations. You know how Sega and Nintendo want to eat each other's newborn children? Yeah, it's about that. Going above Nintendo Switch 3 Days In. Video 10, Physical versus Digital Games. Scott makes jokes about capitalism and concrete matter. He rambles about the pros and cons of digital and physical games. I do have an issue, which is that he only talks about this from the PlayStation 4 side. Sony is incredibly strict about digital games. PC is pretty freaking lenient because you actually own most of your PC games. The reason I say most is because Steam, Valve, basically has a monopoly on PC games. Lets developers choose if you own the license to play a game or lets you actually own it. A pop-up on Steam shows you, alerting you of the fact. If I am wrong and everything is a license, please tell me, it would be much appreciated. Going above Nintendo Switch 3 days in. Video 11, a look back at the Nintendo 3DS. This video is about the early life of the 3DS. It talks about the lack of a second circle pad and Tetris access. I never knew that damn the line betrayed the Russians! Going above physical versus digital games. Video 12, Breath of the Wild isn't perfect. Scott the Woz, the one with the little schnoz, talks about his issues with Breath of the Wild. They include the mediocre voice acting, the overuse of shrines, and the fact that weapons made for killing break when used for killing. Also, he really did upload that video of him eating cereal on Pornhub. Don't ask. Going above Nintendo Switch 3 days in. Video 13, Microconsoles. Scott rambles about what are essentially 2014 Samsung phones that play mobile games. He talks about why some of them failed, one was bought out, two were essentially just phones. He also smashed one that was already broken. Going above Breath of the Wild isn't perfect. Video 14, Star Fox Zero, bad game or baddest game. Scott drinks rubbing alcohol and f***ing dies. Scott complains about this game's terrible controls. For the most part, he does mention other things like the story, music, and voice acting, but it's mostly about the controls. Going above, I'll look back at the 3DS. Video 15, Stop Smoking. I have no idea what I watched. Very noisy. Going above Breath of the Wild isn't perfect. Video 16, Mario Kart 9 wishlist. Scott hears the cry of Joseph Stalin, the press citizens, and talks about his life for Mario Kart 9. The crimes against humanity that the Russian population endured made it desire for more in the next Mario Kart game. Such as, what about Charge and Chuck as a playable character? What if they were Nintendo classifieds? What if you could race in a fish tank? Thank you, Scott, for hearing our cries against the cruel rule of the USSR. Due to my criticism of the government, my balls are going to be dipped in sulfuric acid. Ah! Going above Star Fox Zero, bad game or baddest game. Oh, I'm going to regret that degree. Video 17, Definitive Editions. This one explains some different cases for re-releasing games. Some have all the content, some have new content, some have better graphics, some are literally the exact same game. Sony also has a bit of a problem when it comes to redoing stuff. When I think about it, Sony has a lot of re-releases. All I want is Sony's remaster of Theodore Roosevelt's presidential speech. Then I can die happy. Going above Mario Kart 9 wishlist. Video 18, GameCube was best. This one talks about the unique nature of the GameCube and why it was so good at being unique and fun. Scott rambles about the great if small game library and the identity it had. Then, the Wii targeted everyone as an audience but lost a lot of the GameCube's funky, weird identity, if you ask me. The Wii should have had another 5 unique, weird games on it, if you ask me. Going above Console Wars. Video 19, the first E3 1995. We get to see Scott's hairy leg! Scott talks about how E3 1995 was a boring-ass event intended for investors and diehard fans while assaulting his knee like he's a cartel member. Pretty good, going above what the Wii U did right. Video 20, Fixing the Worst Game Trailers. Scott points out the flaws in different game trailers and re-edits them to be overall better and less misleading / disappointing. The edits flow smoothly and convey whether they are smaller games or upcoming big releases. Going above the first E3 1995, I'm sorry, but Tinder is funnier. Video 21, Nintendo Mini Consoles wishlist. This one talks about the Nintendo Mini Consoles and what games he would like to have on them. We did get the SNES Mini Console, then everyone made one. The PlayStation was okay, there were 2 different Sega Gen Mini Consoles, one licensed one and one made by Sega. Also, I don't remember exactly, but apparently on one of these Sega Mini Consoles, you could actually use Sega Genesis cartridges. Going above what the Wii U did right. Video 22, ranking the Final Smashes. It's a ranking video. It's his opinion on Final Smashes, mainly focusing on Smash 4 and Smash Brawl. I like the Final Smashes in Smash Bros. Ultimate more because they're more quick and powerful. Transformation Final Smashers were cool as hell but weak, going above Nintendo mini console wishlist. Video 23, I'll look back at E3 reviews. Mamma mia, Mussolini's back. I'm not doing this full Italian accent. Scott the Woz, not an Italian dictator, talks about leaks again. This time, it's in a better video. He brings back the Critique That Leak segment and rambles about mainstream popular video game leaks, like when Nathan Drake nearly died when the CO2 alarm failed. Going above ranking the Final Smashes. Video 24 E3 2017. This catalogs of video game press conferences announcements. EA showed all the same stuff, but then talked about old stuff, then 2 new games. Then Microsoft talked about video game specs. I'm glad they didn't go. Going above ranking the Final Smashes. Video 25 Super Mario 3D World. Scott talked about this game. It's a pretty straightforward review. This game is pretty good at multiplayer, looks good most of the time, and lets you wear skin Goomba. The problem isn't that it's not really a regular 3D Mario game. I'll spare you the details because I don't want to repeat the other 7,000 people saying the same thing as me. Going above ranking the Final. Video 26 Fitness Games. We get to see Scott reel as a sweaty, obese, 4-inch tall man as he tries to get swole. Scott works out relentlessly using his Wii, mashing buttons, all so he can tug another workout in. Pretty funny, going above fixing the worst game trailers. Mashing buttons, all so he can tug out another work. Oh, I need to redo that, that's rude. The f***ing ad, I hate the tie that, for God's sake! Video 27, Most Wanted Smash Bros. Stages. Scott, please stop making Smash Bros. Videos! Unlike other videos, he only gets 3 stages successfully. We got a Zelda Breathing Plantation stage, we got a hand level, and we got the Squid platform. Good job, Scott. I just don't like video game speculation videos, going above Stop Smoking. Hey, I thought it would be worth mentioning, but here are what the file names for those images are. You're welcome. Video 28, who will be the next Sega? Another speculation video. Scott explains why Sega was a competitor in the console industry and why I think Microsoft will attempt to build more of an identity. Microsoft has not changed with the Xbox since 2017. Their new console is essentially a different Xbox One. And now everyone wants either a Nintendo Switch or a PC. Nobody has exclusives except Nintendo. Going above Most Wanted Smash Bros. Stages. Video 29 ARMS vs. Splatoon. Scott talked about 2 at the time recent Nintendo IPs and their strengths. The main criticism he had with ARMS was the lack of content at launch, while Scott was pretty okay with Splatoon at launch. I've never played either game, so I'll talk about something else. When Fallout 76 launched, its main problem was obviously the bugs, but also the complete lack of interesting characters because it never talked to anyone. They added that later on. Fallout 76 was never always a great game from the start, going above fixing the worst game trailers. I have a lot to say about this one. Video 30, Gaming on the Budget. This video has an incredibly comfy feeling, yet it is aged horribly on the level of a 1970s dark comedy. Scott's message of only play games you enjoy is great, but the whole him buying an original Xbox for $40 is mostly unachievable now. Obviously it was 2017 and retro games were not really the popular thing they are now. And the whole situation with the 2 2s and the 2 zeros made retro gaming impossible as it made retro prices skyrocket. But that was impossible to know at the time. When I say retro games, I say like original Xbox, PS2, and prior. Xbox 360 and PS3 are still very affordable. If you want some recommendations that should be easy to find, my recommendations include any of the Gran Turismo games. They're fairly cheap, and they're basically all identical, and Forza Motorsport 3 on Xbox 360. That one's great. It's just one I have fond memories of. Then for single player, I recommend Grand Theft Auto 4 as a great single player game, as well as Uncharted and Bioshock 1/2. Then for a family friendly game for all, I recommend Sonic Generations and Rayman Legends. All have plentiful copies going around. You should be guaranteed to be able to find yourself a cheap working copy going at the top. All of these you can pretty much just like even if you have to go on something like eBay, you'll be able to find it for cheap. They're not like uber rare or whatever. Video 31, the art of speedruns. Scott explained how speedruns are an essential part of any video game. Most of the time, they encourage you to think outside of the box and do something really fucking weird. They allow you to play less of the game you paid actual money for. Remember, scamming is okay if you only do it to yourself and not 7 single mothers, you prick. And going above ARMS vs Splatoon. Video 32, Gravity Rush. Scott talks about a game where you call Newton a bitch and change gravity on command. You fly all around the different areas and to make yourself fall up. You play as Guy Fieri and he kills Demon Blotton's nemesis, Evil Guy Fieri. It's a normal review otherwise, going above the first E3 in 1990. Video 33, Game consoles that refuse to die. Scott pummels his PS2 into a bloody mess while talking about how the Mega Master System is invincible or something, I don't know. The Sega Master System is extremely popular in Brazil for some reason. As a non-Brazilian, you guys perplex me. Pretty funny, going above the art of speedruns.
Hi Scott.
Video 34, Sonic the Hedgehog 1991, Birth of a Laughingstock. Let's guess that Scott is fond of Sonic the Hedgehog. He likes the generally liked games, cool. When it comes to Sonic 1, it's too damn slow. I played Sonic 1 and Sonic Origins and beat it. And oh my god, I hate Scrap Brain Zone. It's impossible to get that 6 damn Chaos Emerald. No, literally, it's impossible to get that 6 damn Chaos Emerald. Here, I'll show you.
Going above fitness stick in your mouth.
Video 35, The Rise and Fall and Rise of Amiibo. Toys to Life was a fad. I am so sorry, Mom and Dad. It focused on getting children to buy physical extra content for games. While being extremely scummy, it was popular until everyone did it. The smartest people in the room were Warner Bros, surprisingly, and they cut support for LEGO Dimensions early because Toys to Life was a fad and they knew it. As a guy who experienced Skylanders at the height of its popularity, I agree with Warner Bros. One time, going above game consoles that refuse to die.
Hi Scott. Wait.
Video 36, the best games of all time. Scott talks about games that critics love. The greatest games are largely popular games and well-liked games. If you ask me, sites like IGN shouldn't shape your opinion on a game. I love Fallout 3. Going above fitness games. Video 37, the worst games of all time. This is a fun video as the antithesis of the previous video. It's way more funny. Terrible games are more interesting than good games, personally speaking. I bought SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrate instead of Spider-Man PS4. Also, hi, I'm running the US defense budget, going above Tinder. Video 38, NES and SNES Classic Alternatives. Scott talks about old games and compilation consoles. In my opinion, the best way to easily play this game is to either search for a compilation game CD or
Ahoy.
Going above the Rise and Fall and Rise of Amiibo. Video 39, E3 1996. Scott rambles about an actually interesting press conference. Sony was murdering Sega, Nintendo was showing off, and the Xbox was busy chilling in Bill Gates' testicles. Going above the Rise and Fall and Rise of Amiibo again. Video 40, a console's last game. When I die, if I say Harry Potter and the Clamber of Thick Greeting, travel back in time by 20 seconds to kill me quicker. When a game console dies, it will get a sports game or Just Dance if you're a Wii. Going above Sonic the Hedgehog 1991 Birth of a Laughingstock. Video 41, Nintendo World Championships. These events were about people who are scarily good at puzzle games. Good Tetris players will always exist, even the Tetris accent shows the damn line's true calling. With the exception of the World Championship 1990 cartridges, these are stupid rare. Going above the best games of all time. Video 42, the Wii, underpowered yet underrated. Scott writes different pitch streams. He talks about what the Wii was great at. The Wii was focused on easy to understand first party games, motion controls, and shovelware. From experience, I prefer regular controllers. They are more consistent. I hate Wii ports to games because they force you to use motion controls 90% of the time. Despite the Wii having normal controllers, if Fallout 76 forced motion controls, this wouldn't have happened. Going above a console's last game. Video 43, PLEASE. Am I old? Am I old now? I watched videos of this fake game when I was 7. Oh god. I'm with the decaying fossil. Scott talked about an old-ass urban legend about a standard US government idea to make a video game. It is thanks to the collaborative efforts of NATO that they gave us Klonoa, so the US apparently made a mind control game. It fits well. Going above the rise and fall of and rise of Amiibo. Video 44, The Legend of Zelda NES. This game, as Scott described it, is more of a relic than a must-play title in the long series because old games aren't always good by comparison to what we got now. Old games have different philosophies behind them. That's the real price with retro games. Of course, Wolfenstein 3D isn't as good as an FPS game now. Doesn't mean that it's bad at what it's trying to do. Going above Nintendo World Championships. Video 45, Super Mario Galaxy 10 Years of Bliss. Scott talked about the features of Robo Ebola and why Super Mario Galaxy is his favorite game. In Mario Galaxy, Mario is sent far into space and resets the frickin' universe. Mario defeats the Avengers and tells Tony Stark that I'm an inevitable before snapping his fingers, going above Tinder. Video 46, Black Friday. November is a tough time every year. You'd be one lucky bastard to not get traumatized by the violence in the air. The wicked stench of human brain matter is out there in that wretched Best Buy. God, I still remember the time I had to wrench the lone copy of Luigi's Mansion 3 away from everyone. Then we thought, $2 toaster. I am the lone survivor of my local Best Buy. Never do Black Friday. Oh yeah, the video is about Black Friday video game sales. Going above the Rise and Fall and Rise of Amiibo. Video 47, Call of Duty PP. Call of Duty on Wii.
Wiener.
Scott talked about the few COD games released on the Wii. They forced motion controls and they cut content from the original version. Apparently the motion controls were actually good. I'm surprised considering how dog-water these games look on Wii. I think I'll stick to my Black Ops games instead. Then, I'll know I'm having a good time going above Black Friday. Oikos, Video 48, Lost in Localization. There are things that most people are well aware of. We know that Apple filters are freaking amazing, we know that YouTube's copyright system sucks, and we know Japan makes weird and games. This talks about Japan's video games and their quirks. If you want a weird yet good Japanese game on 3DS to play Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Spectres. Going above Sonic the Hedgehog 1991, Birth of a Laughingstock. By the way, please subscribe! Video 49, Super Mario Odyssey vs. Breath of the Wild. Scott compares two games and why they're good. My thoughts are that both are exploration based but very different. Mario is the collectathon while Breath of the Wild has a couple girls who can do whatever. Mario is easy to hop into while Breath of the Wild is a better game to play through. Going above Nintendo World Championships. Final video, A Very Madden 08 Christmas. Our first video with a plot. This video is about Scott framing anonymous vegans for robbery after he steals all copies of Madden 18. This video is significantly higher quality with stop motion segments, songs, and other characters. Really fun to watch, even if Scott's brains will improve later on after going above the worst games of all time. And now my friends, it is time for the final ranking. At number 50 we have the history of Smash Bros. Rumors and leaks, why the Wii U failed, Nintendo Switch Presentation 2017, most wanted Nintendo Switch games, Nintendo Switch 3 days in, Breath of the Wild isn't perfect, Stop Smoking, most wanted Smash Bros. Stages, who will be the next Sega, Nintendo Switch wishlist, micro consoles, physical versus digital games, a look back at the Nintendo 3DS, Star Fox Zero Bad Game or Baddest Game, Mario Kart 9 wishlist, definitive editions, Console Wars, GameCube was best, what the Wii U did right, Nintendo Mini Consoles wishlist, ranking the final smashes, Super Mario 3D World, E3 2017, look back at E3 rumors, the first E3 1995, Gravity Rush, fixing the worst game showers, ARMS vs Splatoon, the art of speedruns, game consoles that refuse to die, the rise and fall and rise of Amiibo, Black Friday, Call of Duty on Wii, Polybius, E3 1996, NES and SNES Classic Alternatives, Fitness Games, The Best Games of All Time, Nintendo World Championships, Super Mario Odyssey vs. Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog 1991 Birth of a Laughingstock, Lost in Localization, A Constant's Last Game, The Wii Underpowered Yet Underrated, Tinder, Super Mario Galaxy 10 Years of Bliss, Worst Games of All Time, A Very Madden 08 Christmas, and Gaming on the Budget.
I Scott at my Woz.
Scott the Woz Season 1 was a really fun watch. It had some mediocre videos, but a lot of funny ones to balance it out. A lot of Season 1 is definitely a first draft, first quality of writing jokes. Scott's videos here are low in their production value with not a lot of effects, props and all. It's not an issue, but it shows the beginning of the series. Let me know if you want me to do Season 2. It's either that or I'm giving your mother another child. Hello, son.